All right, finally in the shade, but it's close to 9 o'clock. Anyway, so as you can see, I got this thing painted up and it's installed for the most part. The horn. Oh, I don't have the main power hooked up to it, actually. Oh, I don't have the button hooked. I don't have the thing hooked up to it. I was just testing it. Anyway, it's working. I still got to put a wrap around this. I still can't find this screw over here that goes inside that hole. It's just a quarter thread with a flathead on it. I had to take this all apart again because in the end, this thing is moving, apparently. Now it looks like the radio is crooked. Or is it me? I guess the distance from here is kind of correct. This was higher a minute ago. I don't know. When I tightened everything and you start pulling down, things get a little tweaked. I've done a different array of things with spacers and whatnot, but this was a real pain in the ass. Having this thing separate is also a fucking pain in the ass. But I mean, it's looking, halfway decent. Look at that. Look how much it moved. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I had to take it all apart because the thread stripped when I was tightening it on these and bending it and stuff. So, I hate to reveal the cut I have in the middle there, but it might be the only way. Not quite sure why it looked better before. And I was able to push up on this even a little bit. But it looks like this side is going to go up. This would suck if I got to keep pulling this shit apart. It's bothering the fuck out of me. But, I mean, these are details. This is just shit that has to get done at this stage. It doesn't look like I'm actually in the thing correctly now because I put my fingernail in here. But this thing here was curving, yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's closer to the top. Yeah. It's closer right there where it meets the two pieces of metal because it's supposed to be in a certain groove there. Oh, looks kind of off. Because I was like noticing this side was tighter than this side. It's like I could have put a washer on it, but all I did was adjust the bracket with these little 5/16. If you saw the other videos, and I just had to take the whole thing apart. And then what I did is the piece of aluminum that is all the way up here, I put a riveted nut because I was just threading the thin aluminum and it was working. But then the moment I had to play with it and kind of bend it, it just pulled the threads right out. So I had to take everything all apart again and go through all that crap, but looking good. I can't use the self-canceling one, the directional signal. It's not meant for this car, and it did say like it would work on a 49 Studebaker, probably because this whole thing maybe wraps around here. I'm not sure, but there's no way to get it to roll on this and have it mounted here, and it's missing actually a whole bunch of shit, and all the money I paid for it, I thought, all the brackets, I thought I had everything I needed, and I really don't know enough about it. So that's that. Oh, I ran the hoses here, and ended up being, I had to put a 90-degree adapter on this side, as you can see, for the big one. The other one just went 90 degrees going to the side out, and then a 45 going in, and then the other 45 over there. And it's not too bad. You can get to all the fuses. It's just black over here, so like if you look from over here, you just see those hoses just at the precipice there. This is an antenna, because she didn't want to make a hole in the thing, and like I didn't want to do it either. So this is like a universal guy, and I have all the wiring tucked into the ashtray here. This could be unraveled. I was thinking of putting a neodymium magnet on the stickum thing, and then you can kind of move it around, or any kind of magnet. The Mio Debian will keep it on, but if you wanted to run it and put another one on the wire, and running around here, take it down when you don't want people to see it, etc. So it's getting there. I got a couple of speakers in the mail. I did wire all the wires. That doorbell wire that went to the back, I hooked up those 4 wires. And then I have 2 sets of wires going to each door here. So that's going to go to each door for the speakers. The speaker looks like it fits better where that light is, but I'm not sure if I want it there. Probably put it down low somehow. It may not be perfect. I'm not 100% sure yet. I mean, this needs to be all custom done by somebody who does interiors. They can make it look real nice, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm still looking at this, and I'm like, I still feel like it's not right. I guess this is like a 1/4 inch, and then 3/4 of an inch that way. Oh yeah, it's definitely up higher on this side than this side. I don't know what happened there. Apparently when I tightened it, it was able to pull down. I was worried about that. So I might have to take down these screws again, which is, that side's a real hassle. This side is not that bad, but it's like right there, on both sides. I had to reconfigure how that stud was coming out because it had like this quickie stud thing, and it unscrews from it if you go clockwise. So if you tighten it to a certain point, the thing turns and then it moves. So I had to put a nut on it and just tighten it solid against itself so I could tighten as tight as I want on that guy. I have the strap in the back. It seems pretty fair, strong and all that stuff. That's fine. Don't know yet with the console here how all that's going to work. This fucking coil has to be wrapped up and like put to the side. So I don't know what I'm going to make this thing out of. I have no idea. I just I'm overwhelmed with custom work here, and it's too much for me. So I'm debating what I want to do exactly. It's a tough buck, but I do. Anyway, I gotta get ready for work tomorrow. I got a movie I gotta work on, and this will go on the back burner for a couple of days until I get back. And that's it. All right. So I took all this shit apart again. I forgot to tighten these little nuts here, apparently, because this is all loose. Or the hole, I was supposed to put a washer of some sort or catch it on its edge. I think that's what happened. So I gotta redo something there. Let's see. Alrighty. So it looks to be all in and looks to be level. It's all tight now. It's up. I can still see that thing. I don't know if it pulled down because of the nature of it. I don't know anymore. It doesn't seem that bad. But Jesus, I swear I pulled up on the damn thing. Jesus. It seems level though. So if it bothers them that much, something can be done in the future, but not now. It's fine. I got a lot of this shit to work on. And this is taking longer than I expected. Only 6 months. So next thing is the center console, the exhaust. I have to weld that stuff on the front end so the stop happens sooner, so the tire doesn't hit the grease fitting on the upper one, and just run it for a longer period of time, and get the antifreeze in, do the hoses over, run the dryer vent for the heat. I got this guy coming in the mail, the heater valve right there, because it still can't really, like I can pull it, but You know, the cable was completely seized before, but it's 70 years old, and the guy had a brand new one, $110. It's like, just fucking do it, you know. And you know, in a certain sense, I was thinking, gee, if I put these knobs maybe in here, but there's a lot of like supports in there, and it's not really ideal. You know, I'm not really putting speakers here, so it seems like a waste of space, but it keeps the original look a little bit nicer. You know, I was thinking about mounting some kind of aluminum plate and then screw this to the aluminum plate, because obviously you don't want to start putting too many screws. You may go through the AC unit. They don't really make it so you can just, you know, bolt on this thing. The other thing is to flip it over and to put it on the center console, that kind of thing. So, so it had to be done, but it's pitch black out. I gotta get done for the day. But a lot of good things have been happening. I must say, I still really like everything. Don't weld without a mask. Oh, I can't see it on the video, but man, it burned in here and in here. All right, so I think this looks pretty darn good as far as being level, symmetrical, and whatnot. This is a little bit further away, but I need the room for the linkage and stuff like that. That side is like real good. And, I'll show you what I did up front. I'm just tacking things in right now, but it's looking pretty darn good, I must say, for the, you know, beginning stages, because I really can't drive this car without the exhaust being diverted down here. There's too much stuff on there. So over here, what do I got? This was a piece I had in the garage. It was new, but I was cutting it and I didn't realize that I was going out of, you know, there was something wrong with the tubing cutter. That was a while ago. I used an old piece of pipe because it's a unique angle here, and then a straight pipe, and then this is 1 7/8 that fits inside, and then this is 2 inches that I butt welded up against it. That worked out pretty well, all things considered, with my shitty welder. Very high heat, you know, all the way up, and just little taps all the way around. And this side, it was a different flange because of the front wheel drive manifold, and what I used was the 1 7/8 pipe, and then it expands to the like, this is the end where it's the outer diameter, and the rest of the pipe, the other 18 inches, is inner diameter. So I just used it, and I was hitting it with a die to widen it out, and then I winged it down. You know, might have winged it a little tough on the flange there, but it looks like it's going to work. It's a weird size, so I had to grind out the inside there. The other side has a gasket, so there's not much I can do about that. There's a lot more room here. It's seemingly even with the chassis, where over here it seems like it's maybe slightly down from there, but it's a nice spacing. I think overall, I think it'll work. And then I got these Ford, because that's all the guy had. He only had one of the Chevy styles, so these are the Fords, so I got to get Ford gaskets, but I'm going to put this so the car can actually be serviced, because it's important to me that you can, you know, put a flange on there, and they're very heavy. They're not going to last the life of the car. And you put them on, you weld them, you put gaskets, and that way, if you have to do the tranny, if you have to do some kind of work, you can unbolt one pipe at a time here. I guess I'm going to go dual exhaust. I think it's going to look cool in the back, you know, with the tiny pipes in the back going straight out evenly now, you know. I think it's better off, you know. It'll help this modern engine breathe, you know, even though it's like starts off 1 7/8, which is really, it's, by the time they finish bending this pipe, all that, like, that was the original pipe from what, that's the only piece I saved from the original Y pipe, you know, and that's where I burned my face and my arm, because it was kind of impure and it was falling down on me. So we'll see how that goes, welding that up. But I'm going to use the same approach, but right now I'm going to tack around this guy and this guy because I've tacked everywhere else. And then I should maybe I'll put on the flanges and tack weld them as well. Yeah, I might as well actually, because you know you want to situate these a certain way, which I don't think is going to be too terrible to do. You know, and that way, if the guy does the rest of the exhaust, he can always manipulate something with the back flange if something was, you know, needed to be changed direction or something like that. Like this guy, I can definitely go side to side. I guess I can go straight ahead on both of them, to be honest. I don't see why not. No sense to go like this, really. You know, I could. Yeah. One thing I realized with the exhaust, if you ever modify an exhaust like I had done, I put the top one on the inside and the bottom one on the outside because it was kind of natural. But if I had to do it again, I would have gone the other way because it's very hard to get the top bolt on the inside. But it's just harder. It should be a little easier. So I mean, it can be done like this. It can be done like this. Again, this is on the inside. Usually is a no-no, but you know, with this open footprint, I don't see it being a really big deal. I don't know if it makes it stronger to have it on an angle like this. I don't know if it's fine to have it like this or no difference, you know. But I'm debating if I should even weld the flange and tell the guy to weld it when the time comes. Because then he can play with it. I don't know yet. I just don't think I'm gonna have an opportunity to weld it. The thing is, like, I can go many different angles here, you know, and that's something that he might need to do, depending. But obviously, you can put it where it needs to be. Of course, this is a little bit of an issue. So I guess if I go like that, this might be better like that to clear this. You hope it's clearing. But again, you can put the pipe bent. The pipe can be bent coming out of it. I did that. I don't think that's so bad. I think it kind of wants to go that way. So flat, parallel to the transmission pan. Obviously, you wouldn't want to go like that. But you know, there's less likeliness of hitting it. There's very little surface area right here to hit. I mean, it's really not a big deal. Either way, I have them just at the right length. I think everything is pretty good right here. What do you think? I love these little pieces that you can buy from eBay or Amazon and weld them on. They're little mandrel bent things, and 1 7/8 fits in the 2-inch. The 2-inch you got to butt it up against, but obviously I'm going 2-inch on the exhaust. Not too bad. I really like it, and I love using a flange because it imagine doing the transmission and all the shit's welded. I mean, that's basically what happened here. I had to pull out the exhaust because it was all custom made one piece. I should have bought 2 more from the guy for that car because I would have done the same thing probably, now that I think about it. But I'm waiting for parts for that car. It's not a lot of fun getting parts for cars that don't exist, or you gotta find them. I think we're pretty good here. Don't think I need to go like that. I just think there's more surface area of possibility of hitting, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I should use a marker just so I know where I'm at with it. Then I can just make sure I weld it flush. I don't know. might be best just to weld it here, get a good tack on it. I think the tack happens because there's a space here, you know. I don't want to have to hold it improperly or not make a good weld, so you got to weld towards the top, so you hope it works. But and I'm very bad, like you see, my welds are like really big. Of course, over there was fine, and knowing what I know now with the high temperature, which I have to use anyway on this heavy ass flange, it may be better to you know, it might be better to just get it started on the car. I'm happy to. I'm staring at it, but it's all cool. And what else do I got to do here? That's pretty much it with this. I gotta heat the heater valve in today. I gotta see if I can put that in as well. Well, not too bad. So far, so good. This whole, I'm actually pleased also that this pipe it came out relatively easy, because I was worried about the turn, and it would have been more difficult had I used one of these, because everything was kind of not right with it. When I found this piece and it went so nice, I was like, you know what, I got to make it work. I had another piece and I was trying to expand it to go over it, and it was a bad idea. It split. But you know, these are original pipes. They're pretty strong. You know, this kind of pipe. But that one came out very good right there. It was pretty cut and dry. There was plenty of room on that side. You know, to start fighting with the contending with the starter. I got that basically the 4-inch vent, the pipe for the heating system. I have some 5/8 aluminum line that I want to use for the heater, because those heater hoses, I don't like where they are so close to the exhaust, you know, and but also I mean, yeah, it's pretty much the exhaust, because everything's tight. So if I pick aluminum lines, I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal. And I'm going to put rubber to a certain point on both ends, you know, of course. But I think it'll be for the better, which means I probably can't put this side of the exhaust in just yet. I want to do the heater valve as well. Like I said, I got to run that hose from there through there to the motor, and then put the motor in. But I got to kind of do the heater hoses all at the same time as well. So it's and then I got to cut these pretty much flush as far as I could. So I would like to fill them and just weld around there. I was thinking about threading a thing in there and just put some kind of heavy bar going across, but not too thick, you know. I don't think it's really that necessary, because now it's tied in back there and this is tied in here, but I don't know if the significance of this tying it to itself, you know, with the ramp up and everything, and the fact that these things are angled, you kind of gotta use your judgment. There's only so much you can do overkill. But I think, you know, I'll do something there. I just don't think it's going to be really too much of an issue. You know, like basically there'll be hidden nuts behind here, 2 nuts, maybe, you know, 3/8 bolts, and some kind of, you know, angle iron that goes like this underneath up to there, weld it all together, and hopefully it'll be okay, you know. Obviously with it jacked up like this, it's not the best idea, but I don't think it's really even going to be an issue, you know. I really don't. It was necessary to, you know, to grind all that out. It really was. I got to put back the master cylinder, because the whole thing with the thing there. I'm debating. It's like, that's a 4-foot line. I went crazy looking for a 4-foot B&M line, and now I'm like wondering if I should have gone with the 5-foot. Just that the Chinese ones from Amazon were horrible. The casing was too big, and so the cable would move inside of it, you know, in and out, and that would give you a good half a gear off, you know, and then it wouldn't engage and whatnot. Everything would have to be perfect. But if there's any tension at all, such as this, then there's a problem. I had a little oil leak here, but I just extra tightened the thing up on top because it looked like it was leaking there. When I get it running, I'll know so much more, because I just haven't had got it running. At least with the pipes going behind there, I think it'll be a lot easier to figure out noises or anything like that, God forbid. So yeah, that's about it. I don't know if I should bother doing the dryer vent thing today, because I want to put the lines for this, and I gotta have a place to put them. I might have a place, but probably best just to leave it alone. I might run it right there where the beginning of the duct is, as far up as I can go. I'll see, because that's just it. The rest of the exhaust is going to come around there, because it ends up being right there. But it looks like it'll miss. But even if I can start it, if I made it all aluminum, that wouldn't be so bad either. I'd have to put two side by side and have that running actually sort of backwards to go forward, but I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, the least amount of rubber I put, the better. I might even do rubber line. I mean, the aluminum line right up to the heater core. Have a very small piece of rubber hose actually, and then I'll see what happens. But it's coming out good. Obviously, I got the cover on. Lots of good things. Every time I have a little bit of a problem, I'm like, what am I going to do? And I do it, and it's not too bad. Everything works out pretty good. I'm quite shocked how everything has been working out. You see the rubber hoses get right close to the exhaust there, and I kind of don't want that. Yeah, you see how this one here, this is the passenger side. The top one is towards the outside of the car. The bottom one is closer in. Now, the bottom one is close in, but because it's low, you can see it. If this one was on that side, it would just be just as difficult, but the top one would be way worse. Whereas this one, I did the same image as the other one. So like this is all the way up. I don't know if you can see it. Where's my fan? Right here. So yeah, this guy, I would have welded this over here and put this over here, because this is not the issue. I can get to it here, but I had the exhaust pipe in and everything. It was all tack welded in. I got straight on it. It sneaked right by everything with a long extension, so it no harm, no foul, But that's just something to look out for if you ever decide to do something like this. And I don't know. I don't have a hold down for this, but obviously I can't have it close to the exhaust. They say that these things are not so great with the exhaust, but like I could maybe put a little hook, a thing to hold it, maybe utilizing the bolt here for the gas pedal, and just put that a clamp on this, and once it's there and you get the clamp on, it probably will stay in that general area as long as it doesn't bind it more now. But ultimately, if it was a 5-foot one, it would have a longer hoop to it and wouldn't be so much on that edge there and the heat going up. If it's here, the heat doesn't go up and doesn't touch it at all, because the pipe is here and it kind of misses all this. It is kind of above this, but I just don't see it getting that hot that it's going to, have that. But I guess I might as well try it, and if it fucks it up, then I know I got to put a long one in, But I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal. Pretty happy. Oh, I don't want to say the last throws, but more closer than it was 6 months ago. I can tell you that much. What a job this has been for just a guy working on his back. Ugh. Man, I'm burning up. Those goggles don't block the main part. I guess, yeah, I guess you can see in the video. Raccoon eyes, yeah. So this is the new guy. I didn't see this guy, so he's into something. I guess the defroster, which I'm going to have a hard time getting to. Did not notice this. It's obviously on this side, but look at this. Compared to what the other one was, that's with the leverage of the handle and everything. But this thing here is like... Am I doing this right? Hang on. I just did it. There we go. That's not bad. I can literally move it with, you know, holding my thumb or my finger and pushing it. So it should be fine with the thing. I just don't know where the sensor is here. That's going to be interesting. Just 2 screws holding it. I got the hoses off. I got the screws loose. Just don't know where this guy goes, and I'm a little bit worried because of all the wiring and stuff I have inside the car. It worries me just a little tiny bit. So we shall see. So I put it in, and I couldn't really move it. Although I'm across here, I'm probably going to sit in the seat and do it. But I just wanted to, I mean, it does move easier, but I was wondering if it really needs to be, you know, all the way. Like maybe when it's all the way, that's when it's hard getting to where it needs to go. But it kind of seems like it needs to go there, you know? You know, off is off kind of thing. Yeah, because it springs back in the area there. Yeah, so I'm also wondering if the cable, I don't have the cable wound properly, and it's putting some tension on it, because it's like, it's kind of like 90 degrees instead of what I would think would be the correct way. So can it really be that much of a difference? Jesus. All right, sorry. So I got that in there. Let me go on to the other side because... Oh. It's funny because I wasn't even expecting the guy to have it. And he's like, yeah, I don't have anything 46 and up, you know, to 52 and then blah, blah, blah. But he goes, oh, no, I do have 51, 52. So I bought it. Now that's a lot better. Who am I kidding? I was pulling it from across the way. The cable is not binded. My feeling is, though, is the cable's a little bit binded because it wants to be 90 degrees from this point here, which is obviously weird, you know? And I'm trying to think, like, why wouldn't I be able to turn the cable? I guess the center cable would still be in the same place, but there's a slight amount of tension because of that. I mean, that's so much better. The other one did not want to move for shit, to be honest. So I hate to have to go take apart this whole fucking thing just to do that, but let me see if I can make it better. Okay, you can see those heater hoses. I replaced them, and I did these aluminum lines because it was all rubber here, and it's kind of close to the exhaust. So, and this is the exhaust now, so not too heavy. Like a lot of things were meant to be here. Amazing. So, I mean, you can still get the tranny pan out. A lot of good things have become of this. Okay, you can see those heater hoses. I replaced them, and I did these aluminum lines because it was all rubber here, and it's kind of close to the exhaust. So, and this is the exhaust now, so not too heavy. Like a lot of things were meant to be here. Amazing. So, I mean, you can still get the tranny pan out. A lot of good things have become of this. Haven't videotaped much of it, but as you can see, that's like the dryer vent. I was trying to put the solid aluminum on, it would not go. I kind of crushed it to an oval to get it like jammed up right there, but it's still pretty far away from this. But this is the closest point right here, between here and here. I don't know if you can see it, but I think it's pretty good. Only thing is, like when that exits, it can't go straight to that muffler. It's got to go, loop-de-loop kind of thing. And I'll try to figure that out. I'm not sure if I can go dual exhaust or not. Maybe both pipes out of one side there. I'm not 100% sure. A lot of personal stuff happening to me right now. Not really such good weeks foreseen right now. So we shall see. But ultimately, I don't know if there's that much room. Where's my pinky? No, it's my finger. I was trying to show you where the edge of the gas tank right there. It's like that's where the other pipe would have to go, and then it's not the same over here. Obviously, it's like it's in a quarter of the way, so it's like the only way a dual exhaust would look kind of uniform would be to both come out the same side. I'm not quite sure how that would be done at this point. Maybe I should get a 2-in-1. Well, the 2-in-1 muffler is one out, one in and two out. Not sure if it could be reversed, And then of course, if I had to put the exhaust here, I'd have to kind of turn it 90 degrees or 45 and a 45 to go back to that point with some kind of T. So I shall see. I may try to modify that part of the exhaust pipe so it can be maybe utilized. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. And then I gotta attach those because they're not connected, and I got the small line as well. Small line off of the defroster heater core fan motor. I cleaned these up and painted them. It's amazing, like what good shape these hoses were in, all things considered. It's a spider web, I guess, but they feel pliable and everything. And even the regular hose had some of them look like maybe they were replaced. I don't know. This is green stripe. I don't know if Gates was factory. It says Gates green stripe, but it's old school stuff. There's no, there's no QR codes or anything like that. So I thought it was original. I'm not 100% sure. And there goes my bag. But getting all this done. I got a couple of clamps here. I got to, like I said, put these all together. They may not go exactly like it is in the car. Like some of the ones may have to be a little shorter. But all in all, it's been pretty good. Okay, whole day project. But I got all the clamps in. I got all these things in. I actually put this in that crappy exhaust expander to make it fit over this part. It's very tight, but this would fit on okay, and this one would fit on okay. I got my smaller ones. I got a little extra line running down there, kind of going down and then back up again. What else? You can see the two aluminum lines running towards the back. I got them all secure, and I put a clamp in the battery cable here. It's okay. I think I'm just going to drape it up here. It's quite all right. I had to kind of tweak this a little bit to make it so everything fit, but I must say this is looking very good. The only thing now, I did crimp these, but I think I got to take off the compressor because I can't remember if I have oil in it or not. I don't trust the oil that's in there per se, and if I put oil in it, I may have put in ester oil, which would not be a huge deal, but I just know from the other compressor on that other Dodge Dart that I did, it blew up, and it's basically the same compressor, so I want to put the right oil in it. That one blew up on that other car. So just to be absolutely certain, I can't remember if I emptied it and I was just going to fill it. Obviously, it's all been so long, and I got to put the sensor in for there. But otherwise, the whole cooling system is pretty much done. I just got to put clamps on the upper. I got to put the clamps on the lower one as well, and it's a little bit odd shaped right there. It's kind of fighting, but I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. Even this, it's not particularly sharp. I just don't see it being an issue. So I got to put 4 clamps on, and I got to redo that. But now with both exhaust pipes in, but I don't have the battery cables hooked up right, because I was playing with the shunt that time, or else I would start it. But I will soon. It's coming along, I must say. Looking good. Beautiful radio, but right out of the box, it ain't working. You can hear it spark, and nothing comes on. Nada. Didn't work in the car. I went through all the trouble to mount it, and it's not working. All right, so I have the new radio. I only took the top off. It's just one screw, and instead of drilling it out, I put the smaller ones in. Oh, that one's not holding. Okay, so basically I tightened up the nuts and forced this black little stop thing here to hold on. Now, I might have reused this one, and that's why it didn't work out, but obviously you don't want it to keep spinning, because that would be a problem. So these other ones are kind of holding, and it just, when it gets to a certain point, it should be just fine. But I will have to probably put a different one on or something like that. Okay, so some more updates. So today, I took off the compressor, I emptied out the rest of the oil. It looks like I emptied out most of it, but I did get another couple of ounces, and I refilled it with dye oil. That's the PAG 46. And I finally put on the sensor. This is the emergency sensor that if the bulb style type doesn't work with the fancy electric fan setup I got, which this is the bulb, it's got to go into the radiator, and I haven't done it yet. And it somehow got tucked away in here. So this is the bulb that's going to fit inside the radiator, and that'll run the fans normally. But just in case, and it'll also run the AC fan, but just in case it doesn't run, this one will come on at a higher temperature. It's something where I can see myself taking out the fuse, or telling them to take out the fuse or whatever for the winter time, because you may need it to run on the hotter side to get better heat because of all the, the hot water that's got to go everywhere. I believe I took a video of this the other day. I don't know. I'll go over it again. But I did all the heater hoses now. The heater is back in. The heater fan, I should say. And the hoses going to it are all done. All the T's are done. Looking really good. I got to put the belt back on. So like I said, I just took off the compressor. This is the fan, the sensor I put for the fan, which is indifferent from the compressor going on. I got to just plug it in actually right now. What does that mean? That means it just turns on the fan when this thing reaches a certain pressure. And what happens is when you put the trinary switch on, it might have a higher temperature for that, but generally speaking, when compressor is on, it just tends to work. The fan, that'll turn on the fan on its own. So I have a separate high pressure switch over there. No low pressure switch, can't do it on these things. I've learned that already. And just for the fan here. So that means that when the car is particularly cold and the stuff isn't circulating, you don't want that fan to come on right away because it may not translate properly with cold. So what happens is the high side pressure starts to get up high quickly. So getting up high quickly is how it supplies enough volume with the low or pressure for that matter. But mostly, I think it's high pressure on the high side gives the proper low pressure on the low side when it goes through the system the way it's supposed to. So when you don't have the fan blowing, even when the car has a mechanical fan, it's blowing air towards that it really doesn't need to be, and that's why a lot of the old cars, it takes longer for the AC to feel cold. So this will get the high side up pretty quick, and then if it needs to go down, then it turns on that sensor. That sensor will turn it on, and it'll knock it right down. It does use the power going on with the when you put the AC on, but it'll be just using the power, not controlling the regulation. So basically, it's using the power from the AC clutch, so it has the power all the time, and then when it turns on, then it jumps that power over to that relay system, electronic fan thing that'll turn on the fan in the front. So that's all going good. I made this guy, and it's not perfect. You can see staples in it. It's not perfect, but I was very proud of it. It's as good as it's going to get to me. And ultimately, I still got to hook up the speakers. I took away this stuff. I put this USB connector in there. It goes on with the key. It's the same fuse for the one in the front. The motors, it comes as a dual motor. I haven't hooked up the wiring. I'm using the green wire that I had here, so the extra circuit. But it's not, the extra circuit was being controlled by a relay. So what does that mean? That means I could only have one speed if I want to do it one way, but if I want two speeds and use the switch that it came with, then I got to tap into it right over here. So this green wire here, this is what's going to the back. And you can see, and can't say that I particularly cared for this. These Anderson connectors on these small lines are not the greatest, but it's also not, something is it broken? Oh yeah, look at this. It fucking broke on me, so. And I gotta figure out if this is the one going to the back of the car, which I think it is. So then I can use another Anderson connectors. But this one here will turn on with the I don't know how that is the way it is. Yeah, I don't know how this got so fucked up. I guess I'll change it. And I may just put a different one altogether. But this is going to go, if this is going to the back of the car, this is going to go into the car with the switch. This one here will be turned on by a relay that's inside here that's going nowhere. It's just an extra circuit. So I still have the circuit. It still exists. The small turn-on wire that turns on this power feed, which I'm trying to recall now. This is coming from, or this is coming back, I believe, and then going to this whole unit here. So it's power from this, but the relay that turns on that power is tucked away under I have it all tucked underneath the fuse box. There's room for a couple of wires there. I have the turn-on wire for the fuel pump and the turn-on wire for this green wire. But I'm going to reutilize the green wire that I originally was saving for this for an extra circuit. I just ended up using it now because now I added a rear defogger. So I'll probably change the end here. I might just make it more of a permanent one, maybe not. And I'll run the wire. I actually ended up making another one of these guys because I didn't realize I made a mistake. So I'll just utilize that for the wire, and then I'll figure out where I'm going to put the switch. What else? So I did all that, and I wired in the speakers, and I realized that the telephone wire that was running under the seats, I maintained that, and somebody already divided them. Hopefully left is right and right is left from the way I wired it. But unfortunately, just going through everything here, I put the key on, and the radio don't work now. And I did everything. I took out the plugs. You name it, I did it, and I could not get it to work. So I ordered another one, and I did have to fuck with this radio a lot, So I'm gonna try to do a switcheroo and put the old one in the box because the other one I got from probably all came from the same place, but I got it from like Alibaba, and I didn't realize it. I never even thought to check on Amazon, so I'll just buy it and fucking say it didn't work. And I'll have to, the sides I modified, I'll unscrew it and put it back into this one and make it look like it's still new, but it just didn't work. And, sorry, but they gotta make better shit. It's really nice looking. I really like this radio. And it has plenty of features what I gotta use it for and stuff, but it's like, man, I just can't get a break when it comes to some things sometimes. I don't particularly care for this one with the probe has to go in, because it always sounds like it's kind of loose, but all this is all fitting well. I gotta still wire up the backlighting for this, and apparently the backlighting is stronger on here because this is where that little green LED is inside there, but it's like shines more here at night than it does here, and that's because of the way I have it rotated. I really don't think I can put it rotated any other way. Perhaps I can put it, I'm not sure if I can even just without going through a lot of fucking headache. I just kind of moved it there. I should have tried to. I don't want to break it. I really don't. It's probably not as big of a deal, But I'm not sure if I have room to move it. So I don't know if the thing was meant to be up, so you see it more, and it's a little darker down here. We'll find out. And yep. So that's where I'm at, and overall, the rear deck came out pretty good. I was thinking about wetting the material there, just so it kind of falls down, and then when it dries, it'll probably stay like that. That's my opinion. Fucking door almost squished my skull. But I was trying to tuck it underneath originally, because it originally had something under there, and I couldn't get it, but because I put a nice carriage bolt, quarter-inch carriage bolt in the middle, it's holding down pretty firm. Ended up being kind of a little small, so I just unfolded the material and shoved some foam in there, and it works. You can't even really tell. You can't really see the staples either. I was thinking of something like that goes on the edge of a car door, let's say, kind of thing, some kind of molding. It could even be made out of wood. I can stain a piece of wood even and put it and somehow attach it with staples, but it will have to be pretty heavy. They also help weigh it down too. Like I said, I was trying to get this to kind of do an overlap as well as be heavier, but it's not perfect. I keep touching it between dirty fingers and whatnot, so it's not ideal. Just saw something sticking out of the speaker, but that, little speakers is all you need. I could have went bigger, but they were cheap, and that's all it's really needed. And I got the same ones for the front, although I don't know where they're going. Probably in the kick panels of some sort. But it's really starting to look like a car. The exhaust is halfway to the point. I'm really thinking I got to get a 2 1/4 inch muffler. And that way it goes from 1/2 inch to 2-inch ones into a 2 1/4. I think that's the right way to do it. And then redo the whole tailpipe, because it's just, I got to hack it up a lot to make it work if that was, but there's not really a place to put an exhaust pipe here, and the 2 1/4 will be a little bit bigger, the gas tank is right here. Let's see, there is this space right there, but then this is really where the leaf spring goes, so it'd have to be a similar bend to this, where it can be in this zone here next to the gas tank, and it has to go all the way over to catch it here instead of right over the bumper here. That's my feeling. So to do this way, it's like you kind of have to go down to go in there. Like it's tight right there where the leaf spring is, but there is an open hole there just slightly, so it's possible it can come down and up to the driver's side. But if I were to do something like that, I would leave it up to the exhaust guy, because he has the experience with that. It's going to cost more money, and we're running out of money. there's really no money. It is what it is, but it's going pretty good, all things considered. I'm happy with the progress. I'm happy with a lot of stuff. The only thing I did notice that I didn't care for is that the lights that I put in here, although they're cool, they have a lot of light that bleeds in the back, which is a little troublesome because then all light starts to shine from here because it's not like a super perfect fit. It's not like super tight, which is no big deal, but you see the white light coming from inside this area here, but it's the oil and the amp light. I mean, if your oil and amp light is on while you're driving, you got a problem, because basically when I turn the key on, they're both on, and then they both turn off, when you're driving, of course, when you first started, in fact. So I don't see that as being a huge deal, what do you want? These are just so cool and perfect for the car. I just think it's the right thing to do. I would love to put the speakers behind here, actually, but there's really no room there, and it's just going to be another thing in there. Again, the way is so much stuff. If you had to service it, it's bad enough already, particularly for the radio. The radio is harder to do than the freaking AC thing. So. But I'm happy. I'm overall happy. Every time I reach some plateau, it gets knocked down. I got to do something, but I found a solution for it. And then the last thing is going to be this, putting the controller for the AC, which will probably be embedded in this set of console thing that I got to make somehow. So that would be the next big thing. But I would love to get the exhaust taken care of. I'd really like to do it where I don't have to do the exhaust, because now I'd have to make a T, and that's not impossible because I have a piece of the original pipe that has 2-inch, 2-inch, 2 1/4, which is the proper size for this kind of engine. Or or if I can do true dual, then 2 separate 2-inch ones, so then maybe you could use the original pipe over to some degree. But there's just a lot of things I'm thinking about that it's going to take money, and somebody's going to have to come up with some of it. So overall, I'm pretty happy. Got to put this belt back on, put the belt back tight, and now we're pretty much done with that. And I got to get this wrench out of here. But super happy. A lot of things going well. I got to plug all this in, put this belt on. Pretty much done for the day. I'm going to mess with the radio tomorrow.